Imagine being trapped, isolated, with only your darkest fears to confront. What would you do if survival was no longer a matter of escape, but of confronting your deepest trauma? Gerald's Game is a chilling psychological thriller that forces its protagonist and its audience into the heart of fear and survival. In today's video, we're diving into Gerald's Game, the 2017 Netflix adaptation of Stephen King's haunting novel, directed by the master of suspense, Mike Flanagan. This isn't just another horror movie, it's a journey into isolation, trauma, and empowerment. The kind of film that holds you captive with every minute as its protagonist, Jessie, faces a life-or-death struggle, both physically and emotionally. Stay with us until the end, and you'll learn what makes this film not only a gripping psychological thriller, but a profound exploration of trauma and healing. We'll break down the key plot twists, character dynamics, and the haunting symbolism that runs deep through the film. Plus, we'll reveal some lesser-known facts that you might have missed. Welcome to Movies Review, the place where we bring you in-depth movie reviews, breakdowns, and insights you won't find anywhere else. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our growing movie-loving community. You won't want to miss what's coming next. The story of Gerald's Game takes place almost entirely in one location, a remote lakeside cabin surrounded by woods and silence. This setting isn't just a background, it becomes a character in itself. The cabin is meant to be a private getaway, a place where Jessie and Gerald plan to reignite their marriage. But once tragedy strikes, it becomes something much darker. It turns into a prison, a psychological battlefield. There's no phone service, no neighbors, no way to call for help. The cabin's isolation adds to the intense feeling of being trapped. Its peaceful look becomes misleading, making the viewer feel uneasy. What was supposed to be a romantic retreat quickly becomes a nightmare. The wide windows let in sunlight, but even daylight can't make Jessie's situation feel safe. The sounds of the forest, the creaks of the house, and the distant howling of a dog all build a sense of dread. The camera rarely leaves the bedroom. We see Jessie's world shrink. The four walls around her close in. The bedpost she's handcuffed to becomes both a symbol of her helplessness and a challenge she must conquer. The confined space adds to the claustrophobia. It's hard to breathe just watching her struggle. By keeping everything centered in one room, the film forces us to focus on Jessie's emotions, her fear, her strength, her past. And that's what makes this setting so powerful. It's simple, but it never lets go of your attention. The story truly kicks off with a shocking moment that flips everything upside down. Jessie and Gerald arrive at the cabin hoping to reconnect. But what starts as a private escape turns awkward fast. Gerald, played by Bruce Greenwood, tries to spice up their relationship with a role-play game, handcuffing Jessie to the bed. At first, it seems like a planned fantasy, but something feels off. Jessie clearly isn't comfortable, and the mood quickly changes from awkward to tense. Then, without any warning, Gerald suffers a sudden heart attack and dies on the floor. 1 second he's speaking, the next he's gone, just like that. And Jessie. She's left chained to the bedposts, both arms stretched out, completely alone. No keys, no phone, and no one around to hear her scream. It's a terrifying moment, and it happens early in the film, grabbing your attention with raw intensity. What makes this scene so powerful is how real it feels. There's no killer, no ghost, just a terrible accident that leaves Jessie helpless. And that helplessness becomes the engine of the entire story. You begin to ask yourself, what would I do in that situation? Could I survive? Would I lose my mind? The film doesn't waste time with setup. It locks you in quickly, just like Jessie, and makes you feel every second of her fear. This moment is the turning point. Jessie is no longer a participant in a game. She's now fighting for her life. What follows is a mix of survival, hallucination, memory, and willpower. And it all starts with that one fatal moment. Once Jessie realizes she's truly alone, the survival battle begins, and it's unlike any you've seen before. Her physical challenge is obvious. She's handcuffed to a bed with no food, no water, and no way to get help. But what makes her struggle even more intense is the psychological war happening inside her mind. The film shows Jessie not just talking to herself, but splitting her thoughts into hallucinated versions of herself and Gerald. These ghostly versions argue with her, advise her, taunt her, and even comfort her. It's a brilliant way of showing her inner voice, her trauma, and her mental strength without using traditional narration. You feel her panic, but you also see her mind fighting to stay sharp. As time passes, her body weakens. Dehydration sets in. The bed becomes a battlefield. She tries to grab a glass of water just out of reach, using her feet and desperate tricks. She even has to deal with a stray dog that starts feeding on her husband's body right in front of her. It's disturbing and adds to her sense of complete vulnerability. But even scarier than the dog is the Moonlight Man, a shadowy figure who appears at night, standing silently in the corner. Is he real? A dream? A product of Jessie's fear? The film keeps you guessing. Jessie is constantly questioning what's real and what's not, just like we are. It's a test of mental endurance, not just physical strength. This part of the film is a deep dive into the human mind under extreme stress. It's painful to watch, but it's also inspiring. Jessie doesn't give up. Every small effort she makes, every reach, every memory she recalls, brings her one step closer to freedom. As Jessie lies trapped, her mind takes her back to a time she buried deep, her childhood. These flashbacks are not random. They're triggered by pain, fear, and the need to understand her own strength. We see young Jessie with her father at another lakeside setting, and what begins as an innocent memory turns into something heartbreaking and disturbing. In one of the film's most difficult scenes, Jessie remembers the night of an eclipse, when her father sexually abused her. It's a memory she had locked away for years. But being chained up, helpless again, brings all of it back. And this time, she doesn't run from it. The flashbacks don't just reveal what happened, they show how deeply it shaped Jessie's adult life. Her silence, her shame, her relationships, all of it ties back to that one moment. Her marriage with Gerald was more about control and appearance than real connection. And now, facing death, she can finally face the truth. These scenes are handled with care, not exploitation. They're powerful, raw, and full of emotion. They show that Jessie isn't just fighting to escape a bed. She's fighting to free herself from decades of hidden pain. Her battle becomes a symbol, not just of survival, but of healing. And these memories, though painful, help her understand who she really is. By facing her past, Jessie becomes stronger. The trauma doesn't go away. But now she controls the memory. It no longer controls her, and that's a major step toward her escape. The film builds up to one of the most intense escape scenes ever put on screen. Jessie realizes there's only one way out, and it's not easy. With no one coming to save her, she makes a brutal decision. She uses a glass of water to wet her wrist and then breaks the glass. What follows is a harrowing moment where she slices her wrist and peels the skin to slip out of the handcuff. It's graphic, it's raw, and it's unforgettable. But this is the moment everything changes. Jessie finally breaks free, not just from the bed, but from everything that's held her down. She escapes the cabin, injured and bleeding, but alive. She drives away, barely conscious, and crashes into a tree. But she's made it. She survives. This scene is both horrifying and heroic. It's not just a physical escape, it's symbolic. She's tearing herself away from the chains of her trauma, her toxic marriage, and her silence. Every drop of blood, every ounce of pain represents her transformation. And even after her escape, she still faces one final fear: the Moonlight Man. But this time, she's not afraid. She looks him in the eye. She sees him for what he really is, a real person, not a monster, but someone broken too. And she walks away, finally free. In the final scenes, Jessie narrates a letter she writes to her younger self. It's a moment of peace, reflection, and power. She talks about the abuse, the silence, and how she's no longer ashamed. She tells her past self that they survived and that they're stronger now. She also reveals how she faced her final fear by confronting the Moonlight Man in court. He turns out to be a serial killer named Raymond Andrew Joubert. But he's not a ghost or a monster. He's small, pathetic, and human. Jessie's words to him, "You're so much smaller than I remember," carry deep meaning. She's taken back her power. The fear no longer owns her. This ending isn't just about survival, it's about healing. Jessie doesn't just walk away physically. She walks into a new life where she's no longer silent, no longer chained. The cabin, the handcuffs, and even the trauma have become part of her story, but not the end of it. It's a quiet, powerful resolution. It reminds us that the scariest battles are often the ones inside our own minds. And Gerald's game shows that survival is more than just living. It's reclaiming who you are. Gerald's Game is not your typical horror film. It's a tense, emotionally driven psychological thriller that traps you in a single room but opens a world of powerful ideas. From start to finish, the movie grips you with a quiet intensity. Carla Gugino's performance is simply unforgettable. She carries the entire film on her shoulders, bringing raw emotion, vulnerability, and inner strength to life in every scene. Director Mike Flanagan deserves a lot of credit too. He turns what could have been a static one-room story into a layered, haunting experience. With clever camera work, smart pacing, and deep psychological storytelling, he brings Stephen King's novel to life in a way that feels both faithful and fresh. And the themes, they're bold: isolation, trauma, survival, empowerment. This film doesn't just scare you, it makes you think, it makes you feel. If you're someone who enjoys slow-burn thrillers with deep emotional layers, this movie is definitely for you. It's not about cheap jump scares, it's about the fear inside us. It's for viewers who like smart storytelling, strong characters, and real tension that builds over time. You'll walk away not just entertained, but moved. So, what did you think of Gerald's Game? Did the story surprise you? Were you shocked by Jessie's transformation? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts and start a conversation about the film's deeper meanings and standout moments. If you enjoyed this review and summary, make sure to give this video a likewise and subscribe to our channel, Movies Review A. We bring you the best breakdowns, reviews, and hidden gems from the world of cinema without the fluff. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.